Yeah. Meet my wife. There you go.
Yeah.
Can happen.
Get on MasterChef, meet your wife, become a world famous chef, all because you took a cookery class at Parkstone Community Centre.
I think that the modern man is changing though, i.e. we are getting better at, I mean, we're a prime example. We'll come on here and talk about how we feel and also admit our wrongdoings.
Get a little bit weirded out, I think, if someone I've not spoken to just out of the blue messaged me and was like, how you been? I would be suspicious.
Yeah, I have had that recently. In my case, it was someone I used to know when I lived abroad. Welcome back to the Losing It podcast, where we talk heavy so you can feel light. It's Josh, Jimmy and Connor here today, and we're going to tackle something scarier, well, potentially scarier than leg day. I never do leg day ever. And more awkward than forgetting someone's name after multiple social interactions. That is male friendships, something that I know that us guys obviously on the pod try to cultivate as much as possible, but something that I know that people do struggle with. So those mysterious bonds that seem to vanish faster than your motivation after January. And we can kind of discuss why we do struggle to make friends in our 20s, lose them in our 30s potentially, and then suddenly realize in our 40s that our best mate might actually be the guy in the off license. So we're diving into why this happens and what it does for our mental health and how we look to fix it. So that's the general brief. How are you guys doing this week?
Yeah, all right. There's nothing to report on my front. It's just go to work, come home, have some dinner, go to bed. There's no dramatic updates. There's nothing
good routine
on my mind at the moment. Yeah, it's all pretty routine stuff. I mean, this morning was the first morning of the year where, well, I say of the year, might have happened back in January, where I've had to de-ice the car. That threw a spanner in the works. Luckily, I had some de-ice in the back. It got all rusty and horrible.
Oh, no.
But the problem is with the old car is the ice goes away, and then as soon as you start driving and the cold air hits the windscreen, it just all like fogs up anyway. So I couldn't see anything like apart from just people's headlights. So I had to pull over before I nearly crashed and killed someone. So yeah, that's what's new with me.
Yeah. Well, isn't that the kind of thing you're meant to do before you leave? Like all of us.
I was in a rush.
I've got a heated front windscreen now, so that's an issue. Yeah, I know.
Oh, am I about to be the first passenger? Not obviously the first passenger in your car. You got a new car? I didn't realize you got a new car.
Yeah, well, new to me. After the car accident a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, you're not the first passenger. I think the day I got it, I went and picked Con up for a little spin round.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Some things never change. You talk about we're talking about male friendships. Like my missus doesn't get the appeal. Like it's not even a particularly great car. It's not like I've got a fucking Lamborghini Aventador or whatever. Like it's just a standard Ford Focus. But I think that's something in the male psyche that yes, I get it. I've been putting some little personal touches on it, i.e. it's now got a Lego sticker on it, so it looks like a Lego car, just sort of stupid shit like that. And my first thought was, I'll send a picture of that to Con because he'll find that funny, which he did. So
yeah, fantastic, mate. It's funny. I'm just trying to think. Actually, you made me think. Every single time I've got a new car, I've always phoned up my best mate and gone, "Hey, mate, do you want to go for a spin?" And there's no particular reason why. It'd be an absolute pile of crap, you know.
Yeah. They're the best ones, mate. When you pick up an absolute shit box for 200 quid, it lasts you forever. Literally drive it into the ground.
I've got to pick up a new car in the next couple of weeks. Talking of, a car well, it's my sister's car that I've been borrowing for the last few months after I got rid of mine. So now she needs it back, and I'm therefore going to have to put some money in, take my hand out of the pocket and actually give some money to someone for a car.
What are you going to get?
I have no idea, mate. I just want to get something interesting, something I've never really done before. I don't take many passengers either, so I might just get like a fucking convertible, mate. I might just get like an old like like if I'm in Z4
Lamborghini Aventador, mate.
Yeah, right, yeah.
A couple of good nights at the casino, and
yeah. We'll see, mate. I have no idea. Just going to get something that hopefully works and doesn't fail on me.
That's always nice.
Like 2 weeks. Yeah, not spending serious money, so it could be a pile of crap. But we'll see. But yeah, I'll have to work out who I'm going to take along for the christening ride. Yeah. Anyway, how's your week's been, lads? How's you been keeping? How you been feeling? What's the point? Connor, I know said you a bit of routine, but you been feeling all right?
Yeah, feeling all right. Bit is monotonous a word?
Mm-hmm.
What does monotony mean? Like just the same
old same
feeling. Yeah.
Groundhog Day kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, Monday. Yes, was Monday yesterday. See, like, I don't know what fucking day it is. Monday, whenever that was.
Yesterday.
It was like I got into work and I just felt so deflated because it felt like the weekend had just vanished. I could clear as day remember leaving work on Friday and then blink and I'm back in on the Monday. And at the moment it is a feeling of just living for the weekend. It is very monotonous at the moment. I hope I'm saying that right. I sound clever when I say that.
You are.
Yeah, I mean, I can't correct you, so I don't know any better. Yeah. How about you, Jim, mate?
Yeah, keeping on. Like I say, keeping on. A little bit of worry over my hours being cut at the airport because obviously it's the end of the season now, and November is notoriously difficult because you're at the end of summer, and then sort of October you have like the old biddies that are going away that don't want to go away in the summer holidays with all the kids, but still want to go somewhere warm. And then November just dies down completely, and then it sort of picks up again in the sort of second week of December, when everyone starts going away for the holidays and for Christmas and New Year and whatnot. So I last worked at the airport on Sunday, and then I had nothing until this Friday coming. I managed to pick up an extra couple of hours the day just because someone was sick, but other than that, like, that's 4 or 5 days away from work, so it's a little bit stressful. But I'm lucky I've got a little side hustle that I do that was pocket money and is now sort of necessity to sort of top up what I'm losing out on. So yeah, I'm getting there. Like I say, it's only temporary. I know it's going to pick up again in a couple of weeks, so we'll be all right.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, I'll just quickly say, as you may have noticed, I don't know if anyone's been around, but I haven't been as present, I would say. It's probably the term for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Obviously, it brushes past most people because they've got their own lives. But in particularly with our Mavi Fat League, I've been a little bit less present. I haven't been at the last 2 Fridays now. So, and I've basically done one bit of football in the last 3 weeks, and that was the Sunday when I went to play Yeovil. And that was it. I haven't done anything else. And even then I was dying because I was pretty ill. So after that, I did like 20 minutes. So I've just been, and I'm not really sure why, if I'm really honest. So this is the chance for me to say I've just been, apart from a couple of commitments that has meant, and a bit of illness, which has meant I haven't been able to go to the Friday sessions in particular. There's no real good reason as to why I haven't been as present, and that includes being in the chat as well. You might have noticed I'm not quite as, I've had a couple of people check in, so it's I can tell I'm not as active. But I have no real, I was just not feeling like it, if that makes sense. Just feeling like I don't need to be as active as I was, and I'm not really sure what that reason is. So,
how have you found it? Do you feel sort of like, I don't know how to word it, but do you feel sad that you've not been as involved, or can you take it and leave it? How's it affected you, just taking a step back?
I can take it and leave it. I've just kind of done it naturally without really almost, I don't want to say I've actively done it. I've just gone. Whereas I usually felt like the need to go to football on a Tuesday and a Thursday, just because I love it and I really wanted to keep doing it. I've kind of just been less enthused by it. I felt less need to be as active in the chats. I felt less need, but that's the same with all parts of my life, if I'm really honest. Less need to reach out to my sisters and brothers and things like this. So I don't know if it's I don't feel like I'm retreating. It's more just a temporary bit where I just go, I don't need this right now. I'm comfortable just chilling, and I've spent more time in my house socializing with my housemates than I have basically in replace of that. So it's not like I've been less social. I've just done it in a different location away from things and keeping off my phone a bit more, maybe slightly preaching what you were talking about in the last episode, staying away from my phone a little bit more and just being a little bit more face-to-face social, but just not out and about. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, that's it. That's my ramble for the week. I'm done. I'm feeling like you might see a bit more of me coming forward because I'm pretty keen on playing football and getting back into it. So yeah,
it's good.
Doing well.
We've missed you.
Oh yeah, you haven't noticed I've left, mate. I had to say it. Tease it. I'm looking forward to it anyway, mate. So I appreciate it. Maybe then we should probably come on to some friendshipy stuff as we were talking about it. So I have a quick question for you. It's kind of just a general thing to get going. So why male friendships in particular tend to decline after 30 years old? Now, it's roughly 30. It can be any stage. It's declining in general. It's good declining in general, but in particular after you get to.
Oh yeah, well, I wouldn't know because I haven't hit 30 yet, boys. So I wouldn't know. I love it. I'm full of friends. So everywhere I left, I want friends. No, I'm joking.
Anyway,
why in 30s?
Yeah. So this question, I'll just quickly go on then. So research shows men's social networks shrink significantly, but like after what life stage? So would you say it was your late teens? Would you say it was your mid 20s? Would you say it was your early 30s? Would you say it was your mid 40s?
Well, my immediate instinct is to say it shrinks significantly after your late teens. But then, I mean, going back to you saying about it after 30, I think it probably changes because, like, with your priorities, because your priorities change after 30 as well. I think, like, when I hit 30, I was very much like, I was quite like not upset about hitting 30, but I was very aware and conscious of it because, like, maybe selfishly or stupidly, I was like, I haven't achieved what I thought I would have at 30.
Well,
so maybe that's the same. Yeah, maybe that's the same for other people. Apart from Con, who just seems to be so fucking laid back about everything. Like, yeah, fuck it. Like, it is what it is. Oh well, I wish I had that mentality. Yeah, but maybe that's it. Maybe that's a thing in lots of people that, like,
you wait till you get to the dizzying heights of 34, mate. Yeah. My mid 30s, literally mid 30s, which someone reminded me of the other day. I was like, "You're in your mid 30s, aren't you?" I was like, "Oh Jesus Christ, you're actually kidding, right?"
How about you, Con? Early 30s.
Go, you go.
Yeah. So I can imagine when you leave school, which should be what your mid-teen, or don't it be late teens now, isn't it? Because you've got to stay in education till you're like 18 now, don't you? So yeah, once you leave school, you're out of a massive social pool then. I mean, I speak to genuinely now just one person I went to school with. And I think that is a reflection of obviously everyone's school life. If you're very, sociable and popular in school, you're going to take a big group with you. But when you enter the work environment in your early 20s, I think especially since COVID as well, that whole social dynamic has changed. When I first started working, 2015, 10 years ago, every Friday it was a case of, you're down the pub having a drink, even if it's like just one or two. It doesn't need to be an occasion. It's literally just people would like hang around, like they'd finish, I don't know, at 5 and they would hang around until 6 because that's when someone else finished, and then you'd have a group of you going to the pub. And I find since COVID that whole dynamic has really died out, at least maybe just in my experience in my industry, I don't know. But that social element has gone. So I think it just dwindles as you get older. The pool that you're dealing with just dwindles. So you leave school and you lose a massive chunk. Then you then start working, and then you're going to lose another chunk. Because it's not as easy to make friends. You then, when you're at work, you're at a whole different age ranges. And admittedly, it's nice. You can find some people that you work with where age doesn't matter. Like you can have a friend at work who's in their 40s, 50s, 60s. Doesn't matter. Work is a whole different environment. But it's still a very select small group. I think quite luckily it depends on hobbies. I mean, we obviously do football on a Friday, which has, introduced me to so many people that, again, comparing it to school, like the pool of people we have on a Friday night is comparable to a social setting, being back at school or being in the youth club or something like that, just a massive group of people. So I think environment must have some kind of impact on the reason why friendships change at these milestones in life.
Well,
I don't know.
Statistically speaking, it is your early 30s that men's, in particular, men's social networks significantly shrink. So generally speaking, it's due to career and family commitments. That's the biggest kind of reason. As you say, you've got your work group of people who, I don't know, do you call them friends or not? Some people you might be much more social with in a work environment than others. But the question is, would you go out and socialize, or how many of those people would you be able to go, hey mate, do you want to go to the pub this Friday or this Saturday, that kind of thing? And they'll actually respond. And even if they're not free, just go, yeah, sure, let's make sure we do that kind of thing. And as I say, we've got a unique scenario with the Man v Fat, but I think for quite a lot of guys, I would imagine you get serious with a partner, you have kids, or you'll change careers, and that naturally, I would say, as your career progresses, you tend to, I want to say, focus less and less on the social. Does that make sense? I'm not really sure if that's comparable. It's hard to say for most people because of how your career goes, isn't it? But I suppose you might interact less and less with people. I don't know if that's sort of thing.
Yeah, no, I agree, because you can, what you're saying just then is, do you actually call people at work your friends? And what do you class as a friend? Because there are some stuff that, like at work, the rules are so different. Like there's some things you would tell your work colleagues that you might never tell someone in your close circle. But then obviously there's things of people in your close circle that you would never tell someone at work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, interesting. I'll just ask you guys then. Have you noticed a shift in your own life, and what has triggered it? Basically, because I know this topic's here for a reason, and maybe I should start. I don't personally. I have tried my hardest to maintain some form of social circle or multiple if I can, deliberately, because I knew this is something that could be an issue down the line. So I started university late. So I was at college, and I lived to live abroad, and I had friends there. I've come to UK and college. I've picked up where I left off with some people I knew before I lived abroad, most of whom I don't speak to anyway nowadays. I was kind of inserted into a group to be social, one of my friends, and I've known those guys for 10, 15, 20 years now, and I could probably pick up the phone and call one now and go, hey mate, how you doing? And they'll pick up. And I don't know if that's what you consider a friend, but I don't know I'm pretty confident I'd be able to pick up the phone anyway. Then it's like I went to university, so I had friends at university, and I've kept in touch with literally one of those people who is now considered my best friend. And then obviously I've come to Man v Fat. through work, I knew a few people, but never really socialized with them outside of work. I got all of my social, I don't know what the word is. I got my needs, and I need social needs met at work quite often when I used to work at the university.
Yeah.
Because there's people, and then my social needs are kind of met by a couple of my friend groups and Man v Fat guys. So it's not. Does that make sense? So I've been quite
man,
fortunate,
absolutely.
but I also recognise that while I'm sure I could call either of you guys and quite a few of the guys in Man v Fat, and I've got a few friends from the old group I could call, and I'm very lucky in that respect. That is not the case for quite a lot of people, and I'm actually sitting here thinking to myself, genuinely, if I picked up the phone to call people right now, how many of them would call me back?
Yeah.
And actually, I think I will probably find that number is smaller than I think it is.
Yeah, that's the difficult thing, isn't it? Like, I think you're absolutely right in saying that we're in a unique situation with Man v Fat, because so the way that I was framing it when we said a little bit earlier in our chat that we were going to talk about friendships, and I was thinking about Man v Fat, and there are some people there that I genuinely would consider friends. I like most people there. Most people there, I feel like I could have a decent conversation with, and there is a small number of them that I would consider like friends also. And the way that I was thinking about it was, if I was getting married tomorrow, like who would I invite? Not necessarily to the wedding, but definitely to like the reception or whatever. And there are a few there that I would invite, absolutely. But then, it's like you say, then you think like which of them would make the effort to do it, and do I feel like my friendships with some people are more than they feel like they are? Do you know what I mean? And maybe that's a reflection of me, like.
But I almost feel that's to each their own. I almost don't feel that that's an. I wouldn't say issue. That's not the right word. But you know what I say. I wouldn't consider, because ultimately, while I understand you, I get the point where in theory you could consider someone a better friend than they consider you to some degree. I can completely respect that. In fact, I know that's the case with a couple of people I know. I would call on them much more than they would call on me. I just know that. I think I'm not sure if I know where I'm going with this, but only to say that I think that doesn't. So long as you kind of feel like it's a fair thing and you're getting what you need out of a friendship to a degree, and it's not you're putting undue pressure on it, then I don't consider that an issue. Does that make sense? I'm not.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. It's hard to say.
I think there's got to be give and take. Like, again, sounds like selfish to say, but I feel like you need to get as much out of someone as you give back to them. Like, like I'm fortunate enough, obviously, that Con is my best mate. And yeah, you, bud. And like, joking aside, even though he won't agree, well, he might agree with it. I know that I'm his best mate as well. Do you know what I mean? So I get as much out of that, like, as he does, or as I give him. I don't know how to word it, but you know what I mean. Look at him; he's got all red now. Oh. Nothing, bro.
I'm trying to think of like when you say what you want out of a friendship. Like, I genuinely don't think this is gonna sound weird. I don't think I look for anything in a friendship. Like, there's not like a.
Do you think you'd notice if it went? Like, prime example, right? This is gonna sound so like we're fucking teenagers, but every day me and you send each other a snap, and we've been doing that for 1,000 days.
Yeah,
like, close to 1,000 days in a row. Like, our streak is at, and even though that's something that like teenagers do, that's like that.
Yeah, I'd be annoyed if we lost our streak. That took a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all about the streak, mate. It's nothing to do with you. It's all about the streak.
I don't like you as a person. I just like the fact you snap me every day.
Yeah. Thanks. Well, and the fact that you once showed me that your streak with Beth was longer, and I was fucking fuming. Yeah,
it's right though, because you've now moved up into second place.
Yes, baby.
So that's all right.
Yeah, but I don't know where I was going with that. Really, with the Snapchat analogy,
Just what we look for in a friendship.
Yeah.
So obviously not with every friendship I look for someone who's gonna build up a snap score with me. But at the same time, like, do you not just like feed off of the vibes? Do you not just like meet a person and then you can just tell whether you're gonna get on with them or not, and whether that's something that you can gel with? Is that what we're talking about here? Is that what you mean when you say what you're looking for in a friendship? Is that sort of energy that's given?
I think that. Sorry, Jim, you can answer a second. I was just thinking myself, because I think this comes to a bit of a cultural thing, a cultural barrier / it's quite a male thing, I think, and we can come to this a little bit further down the line, where probably quite a lot of your friends you could easily just strike up a conversation with, have a bit of banter, it's really casual, really just, there's no effort, really serious effort involved in it, and that's enough. And you could do that with loads of people. I'm sure there's probably strangers you could do that with to some degree. Yeah.
When I go into a shop and someone behind the till tries to spark up a conversation, I'm like, here we go.
Yeah. I'll wait your turn, old lady. It's fine. We're just trying to catch up. But it's like I get. But then where's the line drawn between that? Because I could probably do that with a lot of people. In fact, everyone at Mavi Fat, loads of the people I used to know at uni to some degree. Most of my casual friends I could do that with. But how many of those people are you at the deep connection stage with? And I don't know where that line is drawn. I don't know where that line is
between like being friendly with someone and being friends with someone.
Yeah,
because
but that's what I'm saying. Like I can be friends with someone genuinely, but like many people, I'm friends with them, but I'm not close friends with loads of those people. Again, I don't know if there's 3 or 4 lines that I'm missing in this equation.
Well, there could well be. I mean, one of the things for me that I was just going to mention is like, I think so. I'm a giver, like, in the sense that, so prime example is conversation I had with Con like 2 weeks ago or a week ago or something, about how he wanted a like one of those trays that goes over your bath, so you can rest stuff on it, like you can rest your phone on it and shit like that. And then I was like, I thought to myself, I've been thinking about getting one of them anyway, so I just ordered 2 because I was like, I know Con wants one of them, so I'll get one for him.
I can't believe
that to me, like, that's how I feel like, that's what I feel like a friendship is that person is like, I was going to say always on my mind. I'm not always thinking about Con. That seems a bit.
There you are.
Yeah. Well, you were just talking about one of those trays that goes over the bath, so I'm pretty confident there's some thought of the bath related there.
Yeah. I just. Well, he's got to try it out with me there as well. Get the full experience. Is that tray for the bath? Right, take your clothes off.
Pick up the soap.
Yeah. Get your loofah out. That's not a euphemism either. But like, I suppose, and it goes back to that when I put that sticker on the car, I was like, oh, Con will find that funny. And like, when I do things in my life, so a lot of my reposts on TikTok, I repost because I know Amy will find them funny, and that's something that like we have, because as well as me and my partner, she is my friend, like, and we find the same things funny. And so a lot of the stuff that I repost on TikTok, we'll sit in an evening and before we watch like TV or before we go to bed or whatever, we're like, oh, I've got some videos that I saved to show you, and we'll sit and watch through those together. So like, I suppose I make conscious decisions in my own life that I know are also for the benefit of others in my friendships, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I was just thinking this actually. You were saying about sending things on TikTok. I don't think there are many people in my phone that I would actively see something, pick up the phone and send them it because I thought of them. I just go that I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like I would see something and go, this is quite funny. I know this person will appreciate it. And I'll just send them that kind of thing. I actually don't think there are loads of people in my phone. Maybe it's just a habit. I know I can definitely list probably 4 or 5 people I would do that with. In fact, I would do that with a lot of people, but I just mean is it's not something I habit of doing. You know, like it's like either of you two, and I know this is exposure now, but I it's not a habit of mine to have seen something, scrolled it, and then sent it to you because I know you'd appreciate it. Even though I'm sure there's loads of things I would come across where that's the case.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's quite a.
Well, is that a line? I don't know.
No, I don't know. It's quite a personal thing, I think, sending someone a video that you find funny because you're putting kind of your heart on the line there. Because if they don't find that funny or it's not to their taste, like you've really got to know someone if you want to send them a funny video.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that is definitely a line.
Part of the reason that I was a couple of minutes late to our podcast report tonight is because I bought, and it arrived today, but I bought that, I don't know if you've seen advertised that game, Wavelength.
Yeah, where they got the little dial that you got to spin and then, is that it?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. So, and it's literally the point of the game is being on the same wavelength as someone else. And there's like a little dial, and then you have like, it's really fucking hard to explain to you, Josh, if you've not seen it before. But there's a dial that you spin around, and it's got like a scale on it, and then you hide it, and it'll have like. So a great example, me and Amy were playing it just before I came on the pod. It's like things that you should have hot and things that you should have cold, right? So there's an arrow pointing one way, an arrow pointing the other way, and I would spin it round, and the dial would say be closer to the hot side, but she doesn't know that. So I said pizza, because I don't think you should have pizza like roasting hot, but equally you can enjoy it cold. So she had to move the little dial a little bit more towards the hot side, but not like all the way down. And then we reveal it and see how many points she's got and see if we're on the same wavelength. So I suppose being on a wavelength with someone is like a key aspect of a friendship. And that's in all life, not just about whether you enjoy pizza hot or cold, but also like if you enjoy the same things, enjoying the same things as someone is a big part of friendship. Yeah, it is a good game though. I'll have to we'll have to play it together one day.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll see how out of sync.
Yeah.
I can already think of things that I'll just be like, I'm not sure. Maybe that's more. That's maybe more based on how weird I am versus actually how.
Yeah, but there are some that you know it's subjective, isn't it? Like you know, there's like good guy, bad guy. Like my definition of a bad guy might be different to yours. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hope not too far different.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think there's.
He was a saint, damn it.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Names. Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. I was going to say it myself, but I thought I wouldn't go there. But now we've crossed this line. That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh well. Maybe, lads, should we move on to something I did want to discuss around friendships? With men in particular, it's the cultural barrier thing. So this kind of slightly comes back to the whole pressure to appear slightly more stoic and strong and not so vulnerable. And I think some of that then takes away from what we were saying about how deep your connection is with some people versus how friendly you can be outwardly with just most people you meet. You know, you could have a lot of those, I wouldn't call it superficial, but, you know, quite basic friendships with a lot of people, I would think. But then how many of those kind of deep connections do you have? So I have a quick question for you guys. So let's just imagine you lost touch with a friend for 2 years. Research suggests that most men will either do one of these 4 things. So which one do you think? So you either reach out directly, either wait for the other person to initiate, assume the friendship is over, or reconnect only if there's a shared event.
So what would I do, or what do I think?
What do you think research suggests most men will do?
Oh, assume the friendship's over.
I want to say wait for the other person to reach out.
Okay, so most men will wait, generally speaking, for the other person to initiate. It's not an assumption. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. So why do you think then most men would avoid initiating? Have you ever felt like that? If you felt awkward trying to do it? Is that what it is? Like, what have you guys been in that situation? And why do you think that's not the case? Because I probably can think of a couple right now off the top of my head of people that I have lost touch with that were very good friends of mine or have been friends of mine for a while, and I just haven't spoken to. I'm mainly thinking of university people here, to be honest, for me, because that's just the cycle I'm at. But I haven't got in touch with them, and maybe I should. Basically, I don't know why I haven't. I think it's probably too awkward at this stage.
Well, exactly that.
Yeah, but that's
a case of I don't want to reach out because I don't know how the other person is going to reciprocate it. It's a case of that they could be a completely different person now. I'm not the same person I was a year ago, 2 years ago. There's a lot of unknown and sort of fear almost about that whole reaching out, and again, just putting yourself out there. You know, you have to sort of remove your stoic manliness to put yourself out there, to reach out to this person, and potentially they could turn around and say, why are you messaging me? Like, no, I don't want to be up with you. Like you say, what's the worst that could happen? This person could turn around and absolutely slaughter you in this message. So I think there's a lot of fear stopping people from reaching out. And I think a way to combat that might be to say, instead of what's the worst that could happen, is what's the best that could happen. As soon as you say what's the best that could happen, you know, you're changing your mindset to a different way of thinking, and then thinking of the more positive things that could happen. They might not have changed. They could have, or they have changed for the better. Like they could have grown even more. Let's say you bonded over, I don't know, just looking at my PlayStation, you bond over PlayStation, and now all of a sudden they are going to events and stuff. This is stuff that you've been wanting to do. I don't know. But there's a lot of unknowns, I think, that can be quite scary in reaching out to old friendships.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good. I like your way of looking at it there. What's the best could happen? Because in theory, the best is you essentially become like really, really good friends again, and you start doing social things all the time, and you speak to each other all the time, and you know, and then that in turn brings you into a different social group, because no doubt they'll have their own social group, you know, and you mean, and that to me feels like a completely, absolutely worth it just for the sake of reaching out to someone, you know, because even if they say, sorry, not interested, haven't spoken in years, that's no different than where you are right now. You're not speaking. So the, you know, what actually genuinely is there to lose as such, you know, that's how I would think of it, I guess. But I don't know. I mean, is it pride? Is it ego? What is that? If you had to name one barrier that stops men from reaching out to our friends, what would it be? Is it just pride? Is it? I don't know what it is.
So for me, it would be a little bit of fear and maybe a little bit of embarrassment as well, because I had a guy who, when we went to school together, we were best friends, like, and I'm talking like we went on holidays together, like he came on holiday with my family, I went on holiday with his family, stuff like that. And then like the friendship dwindled as it does after you leave school. And I think I did a little bit of self-reflection and was like, you know, 15 years ago, I was a fucking asshole. Like, and my mindset and views and all sorts have changed completely. But I don't know. I think like, so I reached out to him maybe in the last 6 months or so, and was like, mate, like what actually happened? Because I don't remember if we fell out like over something, or we just naturally grew apart, and I felt like a little bit left out also, because he kept in touch with one or two of the others in our friendship group and I didn't. And I was like, on self-reflection, is that my fault? So maybe it is like, maybe for me it was a little bit of embarrassment about who I was then and who I am now, and how different those two people are. Like I think I've said before on previous podcasts, like I don't think that I would be friends with myself from 15 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? So maybe it's a little, yeah, for me, I suppose, a little bit of fear and embarrassment.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I'm just thinking myself, when I sit here and discuss it, I can't think of a good reason. And that's ultimately the reason. In a weird way, I don't know if that makes any sense, but there's no good reasons to why I haven't reached out to people, other than maybe I feel like I don't need that at the moment. But I think we probably all need that to some degree. Yeah, I know, but that almost feels like, again, it's having too many friends a good thing. That sounds silly to say in this pod when we're discussing, how very few friends people tend to have nowadays, close friends. But yeah, maybe that's, I don't know.
Yeah, but would you rather have 100 pennies or a pound coin? Ultimately,
yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
100 pennies, so I could go down the arcade.
Yeah, you haven't grasped metaphor yet, have you, Con?
Are you sure you guys can be good at that wavelength game? Are you just like...
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely going to bring it round next time I come round.
Just never win a game. Do they give you prompts, or do you have to like think of it yourself?
So there are prompt cards, but you can just do your own ones.
Your own ones, yeah.
But some of them were like, some of them I was looking at and I wouldn't know what to say. So there was one that was like Star Wars or Star Trek, and you think like, if there's something in the middle, like where the fuck, what are you going to say? Like, shit. But yeah. Whereas if it was right to one side, obviously you'd just say Vader or Spock or whatever. But anyway, bit of a tangent there.
Yeah. Okay.
I was going to say empathy as well. Thinking about how I would feel if someone that I hadn't spoken to since school reached out to me. Because I would be a little bit weirded out, I think, if someone I'd not spoken to just out of the blue messaged me and was like, how you been? I would be suspicious.
Recently. Yeah, I have had that recently. In my case, it was someone I used to know when I lived abroad. So, which was very strange. Obviously, I replied. I'm not going to ignore them. Like, just never. But it was strange to do so. Like, it did feel weird. Like, what do I say to this person I haven't seen in over a decade?
Yeah.
It is a little bit strange. In my case, speaking a different language it added an extra weird thing to it. But just translate. It's fine. Yeah. Actually, it does bring me to a question you were mentioning. Actually, if you noticed a friend had been distant for a while, yeah, what do you do? So do you do you assume they're busy and wait for them to reach out? Do you send casual messages like, "Hey, it's been a while. How are things going?" Do you call them and ask them everything's okay? Again, I guess it depends on your friendship. Or do you invite them to something specific, like go for a coffee, let's go to the gym, let's go play football, let's blah, blah, blah. Like, what do you do? Is it?
I think it
is
depends
it levels?
on the friend. I think it depends on the friend. So one of my closest mates, mutual friend of myself and Connor, I know deep down that I could call them, and he probably would pick up actually because he never picks up the fucking phone. But at some point, Big Rig. I knew. Yeah, there you go. I don't think that, but I know if I really needed him, then he would be there, and I think he knows the same for me. But like, I've not spoken to him for a couple of weeks, and I think when we do speak to, like, this goes back to like the memes and the funny videos and stuff like that. That tends to be like the context of our relationship at the moment. But again, that goes back to priorities. Like, you got to remember, like, it's different for me than it is for you guys, because, and for especially with Big Rig, who we're talking about, because we're both fathers. Like, so priority number one always for us is going to be family. And we've got that sort of, there's that understanding there, that sort of mutual understanding that I suppose you don't really want to like usurp someone and like upset the apple cart, but it's nice to know that if you could, if you needed to, and they could if they needed to. And we go through these like waves of, I was actually thinking about messaging him today or yesterday, sorry, and saying, because we used to go for walks over the Purbex, which was nice, and it's like clears your head a little bit and stuff like that. And I was thinking, I must message him and see if he wants to do that again. And then I thought, it's getting a bit fucking cold now, and is the winter really the best time to do that? Shit like that, but yeah, I don't know. It's so strange. Like, we're talking about this topic, and I think with every podcast we do, it opens my eyes a little bit more to stuff. And I think actually maybe I should message him and just be like, fucking hell, we haven't been out for a beer, or we haven't been out for a coffee for ages. Let's just go and do that. Like, because that's what I suppose that's the typical, like, what people view a friendship as, is doing things like that. But there are levels to friendships. Like I say, he's one of my closest friends, one of my oldest friends. And we have that sort of respect, I suppose, for one another to know that's the level that our friendship is at. I suppose it goes beyond like a traditional friendship.
Yeah.
And it depends on the person as well. So, like, if you know the person and they've not responded to you in a couple of days, you might know that's normal for the person. If it's someone that you talk to on a daily and they haven't responded, then you know that perhaps something is a bit more like something's up. And for myself, it can be quite almost easy to approach it because I'm like such like a happy, easygoing guy. All I have to do is put on a bit of a serious voice, and straight away, that other person knows that I am being serious, that I genuinely am concerned, just with a little switch up to make them realize that there is concern there. But it is a very much case-by-case example of knowing the person, whether this is normal behavior for them or not, and then, being an adult and talking to them like an adult, and making sure everything's okay.
Yeah. Well, there's no right answer, is there, really, as we were saying? It's what we feel is natural, what works best, I guess. That one. One thing I was going to say, actually, was just a note on this one, is that so this is something that I just know. Men, generally speaking, are more likely than women to maintain friendships through shared activity rather than emotional conversations. I think we can probably say that's fair enough on that one. Do you think this makes friendships stronger or weaker in the long run? Because it kind of goes back to the whole having 100 people you could probably easily strike up a conversation with and catch up no problem, and versus having like one or two people where you.
So what was the question? Does sharing an activity with someone make the friendship stronger?
It's more like it's because men are more likely to maintain friendships through shared activities rather than emotional conversation. Do you think that it makes friendships stronger or weaker? Do you think that makes?
Well, I don't think it makes it weaker. I don't think it really. No. So maintaining a friendship through shared activities, I don't think can make it weaker because you're maintaining that contact. You're still in touch with that person. You're still doing something together. But what I think you need to do is have that emotional intelligence on top of it to really expand the friendship and build that deeper relationship. Because I think ultimately football is a good point of that. There's plenty of people that I talk to every week that I play football with. But there's also plenty of people within that group that I haven't made that deeper connection with. So we've all shared the same activity, but because I've spoken to some of them on a deeper level, the friendship's grown. So I think sharing activities doesn't harm the friendship, but it's not going to develop it. You need to be quite emotionally mature to grow
Well,
it.
yeah, I mean, so that's where it comes to, so the masculinity norm, I suppose, the pressure to appear stoic or strong or not show vulnerability is probably the right thing, which is essential, I would say, for a pretty deep connection with someone. I think the vulnerability needs to be there. And I think also then when we were going back to the whole thing about actually reaching out to people, it's the whole thing about not wanting to express loneliness and fear of being needy, I guess. It's probably the best way of, maybe not the best way, but one way to describe it. So that tends to be quite a big thing. I was going to say, actually, men tend to be less likely to reach out for emotional support, as we were sure we say. So 38% of men versus 54% of women. So 25% of men aged 15 to 35 report feeling lonely a lot and the previous day. So it's pretty, that's actually quite a big number, isn't it, really? 25% of men aged 15 to 35 report feeling lonely a lot the previous day. So not even just recently, as in the previous day. So that's quite a lot.
But yeah, the male loneliness epidemic is a thing that I've heard about, at least on TikTok. I've never really looked into it. I don't know whether this is like a lack of friends or a lack of female companionship. I'm not sure what the male loneliness epidemic refers to.
I think it's a bit of both, I would think, because in theory, as you've been expressing, Jim, as well, and your partner can be your friend, So
I think often I think that the modern man is changing, though, i.e., we are getting better at. I mean, we're a prime example. We'll come on here and talk about how we feel, and also admit our wrongdoings. Whereas, 50 years ago, well, not even, I use 50 years ago as an example, but actually in the last 5-10 years, men have changed. The modern man has changed for the better, I think, in terms of being able to be more open and not, people talk about the buzzword, I suppose, is being woke. Do you know what I mean? And, you can't say that nowadays is the riposte that you get from some people who are stuck in those old ways, perhaps. But I do believe that the modern man is changing for the better, and that
but I think also with this, with this loneliness epidemic as such, because I was going to say nearly 40% of men in their 40s report feeling lonely weekly. So that's that's not 4 in 10 guys doing that is pretty substantial. I think it's kind of got to that thing where it depends on how you treat it. Are you one of these people who's going to isolate yourself when you get lonely and sit around blaming the rest of the world, or are you one of these people who's going to try and, for lack of a better term, do something about it? Not that I know what that is, by the way. I'm not saying that. I don't know. I'm just. Do you accept the fact that this is part of the world as it is at the moment, and something the only person who can do anything about it is you, or you need to do something about it? Engage with people, etc. I know that's difficult. It's not easy to say, by the way. I'm sure people are more and more reclusive all the time.
See, this is going to sound a bit but I think you can lead a horse to water, but you can't teach it. You can't make it drink. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's only so much that you can do, or that we as a species can do. Yeah, I suppose just making it more like accessible and normalizing what we do.
Yeah. And I think it touches on as well about doing, again, this shared activity thing. You can share an activity with someone and still be lonely. If you're just going down the pub to have a pint with your mates, but you're not actually talking. You're not actually sharing anything, experiences. You're not getting anything off your chest. You're going to come away feeling just as lonely. You might as well have just stayed at home. If you're not willing to talk to people and share these experiences, you're not going to feel any less lonely. Loneliness is something you feel inside your head. And until you get it out of your head, it's not going to go away.
Yeah.
And I think, especially with the older generation, not even that old, people in their 40s, like what is there for 40-year-olds to do to bond over? What, the cinema where you can't talk?
Yeah, golf,
pub?
it seems to be from pretty much
Golf.
most people. Like, yeah,
That's
I
the
mean,
best point. I didn't think about golf.
yeah, but only golf is not. Yeah. But I know what you're saying, though. It's a good point, isn't it? It's a bit like, especially if you've got a family and you're busy all the time. You've got it's other dads, then, isn't it? Basically,
Yeah.
And that's not easy. I'm sure that's not very easy at all.
But then I think you could also, like, I live my younger life through my interactions with my friends, i.e. Con, like, because he's younger, like I'm mate, honestly.
By the way, I have no idea what that is. I'm too old for that shit. I don't know what it means.
I suppose it's being willing to be a different person with the same traits with other people and feeling comfortable enough to do that.
Code switching is what the kids call it these days. Code switching.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. See, I didn't know that. So now I'm the old man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Code switching.
Yeah,
but
exactly that.
Yeah. And going back to the shared thing, I think that it's a good thing. Like, we were just talking about our mate Riggs, and as we were talking about it, and I said I really should message him, I was like, do you know what? Fuck it. I did message him, and I just got a message back from him now. And
don't read it out.
One of the first things he said, he's talking about two things that we like to do and that we enjoy together. He said, "I'm good, mate. How are you? I'm eagerly anticipating going to see the new 28 Years Later if you're still game. I've also just finished the new series of Brassic." Like, straight away, he could have just come back and said, "Yeah, good, you." But he's the sort of friend that has opened up. He's not just left it to, "Yeah, good, you." He's opened up another avenue of conversation. And I think because he's willing to do that also, that goes right back to what I was saying at the start. You've got to have that give and take from people, I think.
Yeah.
And that's not to discredit people that don't feel like they can do that, because I'm lucky enough that I'm not in that position. But I don't know. Again, what do you do? What can
this
you do?
is where I think we can kind of come to some practical tips, potentially, that I have a few thoughts on. Just quickly before that, I do want to just touch on some of the things we were saying about the impact, because obviously social isolation is generally linked to depression, anxiety, heart disease, which is a big one, and shorter lifespan. So it's a big physical thing as well, just as much as anything else, of being lonely. Obviously, we know very much about the suicide rates, which we continue to talk on. So obviously there's that as well. Another thing is the kind of brain's physiological response or psychological effects against, I guess, really, is either losing close friends and activities kind of activates the same pain centers as physical injury. So it still triggers stress hormones, and that comes back to what we're talking about, and dopamine withdrawal as well. So being lonely and not isolating yourself away and that kind of thing can, I say, trigger the same thing as physical pain. So, and this kind of slightly touches on things like grief, which I'm sure Russ will have a conversation about that in future. So those are kind of some of the psychological effects of it. Another quick question for you, though. On average, how many hours do you think it takes to move from an acquaintance to a close friend? On average?
Are we talking
So
men or
let's
women?
just hope men. Well, this is just generally, but
Okay.
you say women. 2 seconds. Is it? Or is it more like?
Well,
On average, I don't know really. It doesn't say men or women, but I've got a few. So either 50, 100, 200, or 400 hours.
see, if we were talking just men, I'd say 50 hours, nice and easy. Because I heard a saying once, and ring true from what I've heard, is men need a reason to not like you, whereas women need a reason to like you. So men are quite easy to trust people. If you, and I think that's evidenced in quite a lot of daily interactions, is put two blokes together and they'll get along, they'll find common ground, they'll have a chat, they'll be happy. And I work with women, so I'm a little bit experienced in this. Put two women together and they will sort of have that initial distrust of each other until they find that common ground. So whereas men go looking for that common ground, women won't necessarily go looking for it until it comes up, until they have a reason to get along with one another. They don't really tend to.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not a scientist. I don't know how true that is. But in my experience of working with women, I've got to say it does seem paramount when you get that new staff member starting. There is a divide until they have that common ground. There's a divide between them. Whereas, when I joined Man v Fat, first time I walked up to the pitch, literally asked, "Is this Man v Fat?" 3 blokes come over. One of them offered to take me up and see Steve. Like, there was no reason to not be friends. So it's tricky because I want to say that it could be quite quick to build up that friendship. But in reality, if we're mixing it all together, read me the options again. 50,
100, 200, or 400 hours.
Let's go 200. I'm locking in at 200.
Well, that was a very reasoned argument towards 50. So if it's not 50 now, then
yeah. It's funny, Cod, because you say on your point, it goes back to what I was saying earlier, like how easy it is that you could have friends, lots of friends you could easily strike up conversation with. I could pick up my phone in a minute or bump into someone I haven't seen in a while in the street. I have no problem speaking to them for a decent length of time, just casual stuff with guys. I have no issue with that at all. But again, how many of them do you then progress to being close friends? So is that men find it easier straight away, but then stay at that level for longer, maybe? I know I'm just a devil's advocating on that one. I don't really know. Anyway, the answer in theory is 200 hours. So
that's the second question.
I was going to say, does that surprise you? And also, how can adults realistically invest that time? Because
it does surprise me. 200 hours is a long time to spend with a person. Is it not?
Well, yeah, but it goes from acquaintance to close friend. Like yes, I know what you're saying. 200 hours does seem like quite a long time. I would comfortably feel like, have I spent? This is a really good question. Have I spent 200 hours with any of the guys from Man v Fat?
How many days?
And that includes football sessions. Like, have I actually spent 200 hours with any one person from Man v Fat yet? I don't know.
No, well, I just want to have a look quickly.
Well, it's about 9 days, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say 8.3 according to my calculator. So that's 8 whole days, every second of every day to spend with someone.
Well, it's not non-stop, Con. You're not in isolation.
200 hours. If I wanted to meet someone and become best friends as quick as possible, I'd have to be locked in a room with them for 8 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does feel like a bit. Anyway, I think it's a good one then. So which factor do you reckon most predicts whether a male friendship survives into midlife? So is it A, geographic proximity, B, shared values, C, frequency of contact, or D, similar income level? Well, that last one does seem a bit... Let's just rule that out, I think, shall we say?
I think it's going to be geographical location, how easy it is to see each other.
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
Okay. In theory, it's frequency of contact. So that's the strongest predictor of how, your survival of your friendship essentially into midlife. And this goes back to your conversation, Jim, with your mate, is that, well, okay, you might not frequently, it's geographic location has no factor in that friendship, I'm assuming.
No.
So it's like, exactly. So it's like, I mean, there's a couple of people I would speak to pretty regularly who I don't see very often because of where they are. But I know that if I saw them in person, so anyway, that's just my personal experience. But I can completely understand geographic location does make sense, doesn't it? The ease of which you can see them in person.
Yeah, because I don't really have internet friends. Like, if I don't know someone in person, then I don't ever really see myself being friends with them. Like, example, on Xbox, I don't add strangers online. Like, unless I've met a person. I don't know if it's just because I may have had it heavily drilled into me not to talk to strangers on the internet. I don't know. But yeah, it's just something that seems, I don't even know how to word it, because it's not off, but like, I just wouldn't make friends with people online.
Charlie says. Do you remember that
No.
advert?
I
thought you'd remember that, Josh.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I can't remember that. No, sorry, I've ruined it.
Well. Charlie's a little cat that tells you not to talk to strangers.
Oh, right, okay.
Smart cat.
Yeah, smart indeed. So one thing we should say then, just quickly, obviously, some practical tips. Then, shall we move on to that as our last bit for today? So these are kind of sensible stuff you should really know. First things first, making the first move. So invite someone for coffee or a workout or whatever it is you do. Just try and put the awkwardness aside and try and just go, look, I'm just going to speak to this person and invite them to do something. Now, I know we don't all have time. This goes back to the whole 200 hours. Where are you going to find that time as an adult most of the time to do it? But where you can find time, I think it's important to try and put it aside and invite someone along to. It could be someone you need to speak or you haven't spoken to in a long time that used to be a very good friend of yours. It could be trying to invite someone, like you were saying, internet friend who you speak to, maybe that then maybe you can see in person. I don't know. So that's one thing. We're all in agreement with that. I think that feels like try to put that awkwardness to a side and just kind of do it. It goes back to what we're saying on.
Because it's that first barrier, isn't it? Is that awkwardness?
Yeah. And it's more, as you were saying, what's the best that can happen, not what's the worst. Yeah. Another thing is scheduling your friendship like a priority. So treat it like any other important weekly, daily commitment that you already have. Now, I will freely admit I am guilty of not doing that in some cases. I don't sometimes. I message people consistently, but I'm not treating it like it's my number one priority. I've often got, I'm doing work. I don't go, I'm going to put half an hour aside and I'm going to message some people, or I'm going to call this person, or I'm going to invite this person somewhere and do this. I tend not to prioritize it the same way. All right, lads. So I don't know what you guys think about that. I don't know if you're like that at all.
Yeah, I think definitely, like I say, like I don't know, it's difficult because I don't like set aside time to do stuff with people. I'm like an on the fly kind of guy. Like I say, I messaged my mate whilst we were recording because I thought, you know what, I actually just need to fucking do that. Yeah, so I don't know. This is like I say, every pod we do now opens my eyes to something new or a different like outlook on something. But yeah, this has been a weird one because I don't know what we can do, which is I suppose why we've got these practical tips.
Yeah, do you feel like you prioritize it as much as you should? I'm not trying to put you in a blender. I'm just generally asking. I know I haven't done sometimes. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I actively go out my way and go, I need to do more of this, and then I have a bout of a couple of weeks where I'm like, it's all I focus on.
Yeah, I don't think I do a bad job of keeping in touch with people, if that's the question. But I know that I could do better.
Yeah, it's just where you prioritize it. Do you see it as a priority? Do you focus on it as a priority? And that's really what it is.
I suppose, yeah. Making sure my friends know I'm there, and that, yeah, I'd say I prioritize it quite highly.
Okay. Well, the next thing then is something we know quite a bit about: joining interest-based groups, so sports leagues, hobby clubs, volunteering, creating organic opportunities like that. Something I actually was going to try and do myself a little bit more of is volunteering, or try to get involved in something that I will meet new people and feel like I'm doing something right at the same time. You know, well, actually, one of the things I was going to do, because I'm a terrible cook, is a cooking class or something like that. You know, get involved in like that kind of thing.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Well, as I say, I don't know. But again, it's prioritizing, putting something aside to be social and try and learn something new in person. And I've thought about that a lot recently, but I've still not done it. And hopefully maybe this episode is going to be that push where I go, yeah, let's just do it. I've talked about it enough now.
Why not, mate? What's the best that could happen, Josh?
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Meet my wife. There you go.
Yeah.
That's the best that can happen.
Get on MasterChef, meet your wife, become a world famous chef, all because you took a cookery class at Parkstone Community Centre.
Yeah.
You got a bit of Greg Wallace about you. the bowl head, not the touching inappropriately.
You could have gone with loads of different people there, Jim. Yeah, that cheese and ham Breville is going to hit different in it at some point when I can learn how to do it properly. Okay. So joining interest-based groups is one. Again, I know people have limited time and things, but it is something genuinely to seriously consider. Obviously, we put aside some of our time, as we do for Man v Fat, as an example. It's picking a couple of hours one night a week or one night every couple of weeks, isn't it, to try and do something. The next thing is kind of is practice being vulnerable, if you can call it that. Share something personal beyond surface level topics like work and sports. So with someone that you know is a good friend of yours, or you consider a decent friend, or even someone who's a friend of yours but isn't necessarily a really close friend, you can then move towards.
Yeah, you got to gauge it though. You
Can't just go
trauma dumping on someone that you've known for like a couple of hours and thought, yeah, this guy's pretty cool. I wonder if he wants to know about this tragic event that happened in my life.
Well, you could always just go, can I talk to you about something, and see, and then it's like something personal.
Yeah, but again, if I'd only known someone for a couple of hours and they said to me, I talked about something, I'd think,
I know, but it's not like a couple of hours, like, okay, let's use an example. How many of the guys here at Man v Fat you speak to consistently, but you wouldn't necessarily call a close friend, but you know them well enough, maybe
that I would be willing to share.
Well, not that, oh yeah, sorry mate, I had performance anxiety last night, can I talk to you about it? It's not that kind of thing. It's more like, I don't know what to say. I think you get the general gist of what I'm trying to say without trying to trauma dump. It's not like, it's more just, how many things do you know about not someone's home life in Man v Fat? I'm not saying you ask him, like, what did you and your missus get up to? But it's more just, do you know if they've got a family? Have they got kids?
Yeah.
Things like that. Do you know that kind of thing? And then progress from there. Just a thought. I don't really know. I give the practical tip, but the tip is just practice vulnerability. And then I've gone ad-libbed from there.
True.
Ironically as well, I give the tip is what me and the missus got up to last night. So
how vulnerable of you. Well done, sir.
Sorry, babe. I know you listen and watch.
Anyway, maybe
This is all stemmed from me giving you the Greg Wallace treatment. I am very sorry. We've got 5 minutes of this podcast has been very.
Let's just hope that doesn't stick. Yeah, it's on the internet now for everyone to see. So let's just hope it doesn't stick. I can start getting called Greg. I'm just gonna, anyway. Right. The last one, potentially something I know it's more for those people. I guess you're online quite a bit. So digital connection with intention. So using group chats or video calls to maintain bonds with people. How many people do you video call versus just a message? Or just like
very few.
I don't, as I said, I don't think I video call anyone.
Okay, that might be quite a guy thing because half the women I meet all video call people all the time and out in public spaces, and I'm just like, what is going on? You know, those people who put the speaker phone on and they're standing around walking around like this.
Yeah.
I just think to myself, Jesus Christ, have some sense of like privacy, you know?
You should just join in the conversation since they want to be so public. Just start walking next to them, chip in.
Yeah. Let's go, hi, nice to meet. Yeah.
Do you know what? I had a moment like that earlier, right? I don't know why this has just popped into my head, but I was thinking about so I walked into Sainsbury's and there was a guy that was he was leaning down to get something off of a shelf and like his arse crack was hanging out. And I was thinking in my head, the first thing that popped into my head was, Jim, go over and lift his trousers up for him. Look, this stranger. So yeah, let's engage it. Yeah. Let me just sort that out for you, sir. Yeah.
Drop
Maybe
a little
don't
penny
do
in the
that.
crack.
Yeah. Oh, need to park the bike somewhere.
Yeah, I genuinely thought you said, "Oh, I got the last penny out of my wallet," and just dropped it.
This is how far you could stand back and throw it.
Yeah.
Land.
Yeah. Oh man, and you get high fived by the next guy in the shop when you land. So you just know it's like. Anyway.
Best moment I ever had like that. A guy, it was in the middle of the summer a couple of years ago, and a Maybug, it was fucking huge, and it landed on a self-service till, and this guy, without missing a beat, slammed down on top of this Maybug. And I thought that is the bravest man I've ever known. Not just because he was willing to do that, but because he'd used his missus's bag to do so. And I was like, fair fucking play to you, mate. Fair fucks. I wouldn't go near this Maybug as it is because I'm scared of big bugs that fly around you. But to smash it down and squish it with your missus's bag, yeah. Fair play. And we're still friends to this day.
Anyway, I didn't really have any more practical tips, but it's all about just trying to be conscious of how social you are with people, trying to be conscious of where you are in a relationship, and then trying to escalate where you feel you want to is escalate relationships and things like that. So trying to be a bit more, it's particular in person, you know, it can be sometimes just reaching out to people you haven't reached out to for a long time. I think that's something we can say is quite important. But from there, it's just trying to be intentional with your social interaction.
Yeah.
And, you know, skipping small talk is something I always try and do where I can. I'm not very good at it. I'll always just, and it'll be the same with you guys tonight, Jim. And when I see you, I'm sure there'll be a little bit of small talk, but it's more just like, where do you know, how do you start an interaction without skipping some kind of small talk? You know,
when I pick you up in the car, mate, I'm just going to sit there in silence and wait for you to to start a conversation.
We'll see what I can do.
Yeah. I'm not even going to have any music on just to make it extra awkward.
Okay, good.
Good
test. Good test. All right, then, lads.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, chaps. It's been a good one, and I've arrived for me.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, and thank you to all listeners. Please do all the usual way you can. We'd really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, all that kind of jazz. If you're interested, there's more to come, and we look forward to you listening. And I don't really know what else to say other than just
please be my friend.
There's the intro sorted.
Yeah, reach out to us. Reach out to us.
If you need a friend,
yeah,
you've got a friend in me.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot, chaps.
Thanks, lads.
Yeah, thanks again. We'll catch each other very soon, I'm sure.
Cheers.